Change is coming, and not because the mutants will be part of the MCU, but because of what they bring with them to the table, how they were able to remain hidden so far if they were part of the MCU, and what is the reason they are on the spotlight after so long being kept a secret. By someone presumably, but also how they came to be in the first place. The mutants are coming to the MCU, and they are ready to take over. We are saying this due to the fact that Marvel Studios have reportedly already started the development for the movie that, as of right now, has been titled The Mutants. We are not sure if this title will stay or if the movie will even stick enough to see the light of the MCU, but there is doubt about it that one of the biggest names of Marvel is coming to town. Thanks to Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox's X-Men in 2019, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been handed all the rights about the mutants in their hands, together with all the characters and the storylines that go with them. Many fans are excited to see in just what way Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige delivers the mutants to us, and what Marvel intends to do with them once they are part of the wide MCU mythology. Without anything official being said about the mutant race, outside of the third already confirmed Deadpool movie, fans have been spiraling out of control trying to find out when the mutants will even come to the MCU, and the recent Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer has had a helping hand in things, with Patrick Stewart's Professor X confirmed to be in the movie. And despite the acquisition that happened more than 3 years ago, one big question still remains. How will Marvel Studios bring the mutants to the MCU? So far, there have been so many theories and of how the MCU may introduce the mutants. However, one theory in particular might be the key to everything, a setup which has already been made with the Eternals movie that was released in 2021. But more on that a little bit later down the line. According to some rumors, Marvel Studios has already started working on one of the most anticipated projects among the fans, the next movie about the mutants, and as usual, it is Kevin Feige who is producing everything. There are no known plot details, writers, cast members, or even directors at the time, with the only thing we have right now being the previously mentioned title, The Mutants. With the news that Marvel is hiding something regarding the X-Men, not including the name and the title of the supposedly already in the works movie, fans will hope that this will not be an indication that the X-Men name will be dropped in the MCU. However, if that is the case, then we would also understand what is the reason behind it. Because in that motion, the MCU can expand and tell more stories about the mutants in general, with the team named X-Men coming at a later point, with it being used in future movies and titles of course. In this case, there is also a chance that MCU will not call the team X-Men at all. Whatever the case may be, we will have to wait and see for ourselves when something more concrete gets released from Marvel Studios. The arrival of the mutants is a big thing, as it will change a lot of things in the MCU, both because of just how powerful many individuals are, some even on Omega level of power, and just how important they are at Marvel. There is a lot of diversity among them, from the ridiculous ways of how they operate as individuals, all the way to how much they can work as a team, particularly the X-Men, a team of the most powerful individuals who have been put together by Charles Xavier, possibly the strongest telepath in the entire Marvel Universe. The tricky part about them is that they have been part of the Marvel Universe for so long, it is kind of strange not to see them by now, taking part among the movies and TV series from MCU so far because of the rights being held by 20th Century Fox, as we said before. One theory that is topping the charts among the fans is that the Eternals will be the key to the mutants and their arrival in the MCU, and just why after such time passed, and us already in the Phase 4 of the MCU. The deviants in the MCU are nothing like the ones in the comics. They are essentially predators created by the Eternals who consume life, with them taking on various attributes from anything they digest, which led to the creation of the deviant leader Crow, who fed upon the cosmic energy of an Eternal. The key lies in the fact that no two deviants are the same. However, the movie never showed what would happen if a deviant absorbed a human being, which could be the answer as to how mutants became mutants, integrating themselves among the human society. Thus, the deviant's DNA could therefore enter the human race through this human-like deviance, explaining some of the darkest legends of changelings along the way. It is very likely that the history of the mutants and the X-Men will not be explored, in the early stages at least, and we think it is better for the MCU that the world becomes shook as teenagers spontaneously develop powers, with the truth to then be gradually revealed, with a little bit deeper explanation of the deviant influence upon the human race, essentially making both Eternals and Deviants an essential part of how mutants were always present within the MCU, in hiding, afraid from the Eternals, and how they would react if they were to be able to know their existence. There aren't many known details about the arrival of the mutants in the MCU, so we will leave it at that for now. The upcoming Doctor Strange sequel, on the other hand, can give us additional information on the topic, which, as leaked point out, Wanda has already eradicated X-Men from the MCU, and that she has already used the No More Mutant spell from the comics, with the movie serving as a reversal of the spell, which would effectively bring all the mutants to the MCU's primary reality, with the leak saying that only Deadpool would be able to remember everything, while the other mutants are oblivious to what had happened. For now, this sounds very dumb and irrational to the point that it doesn't make any sense, and before we move forward, we think that you should forget everything about Fox's X-Men continuity, as it is all very complicated, and mainly because the X-Men stories involve time travel that contradicts the MCU's rules of time travel. There is also the possibility of a WandaVision plot hole, which saw her fellow mutants getting to her first before the Avengers or Doctor Strange, and in an aftermath of her descent to the dark side, she said the infamous "No More Mutants" line/spell from the comics. That is an option as well, right? Giving her massive rage and power, she could have easily single-handedly defeated the group of mutants that came after her after the events of Westview. She was able to do it in the comics, so it should not have been hard now. There are also a lot of other theories that involve the likes of Moira McTaggart, who supposedly suppressed all of the powers of the mutants to keep everything a secret. Then we have the Thanos snap, which could have been the reason mutants were not part of the MCU up until that moment. Or even the multiverse being the name of the game right now, with it being the reason of the mutants becoming a reality in the storyline we have been a part of ever since the first Iron Man movie that was effectively the starter of the MCU, with the mutants only being part of different timelines and not the one we are used to by now. Thus, with everything said and done, one thing that stops us from knowing more about the mutants and the X-Men as a whole is that we don't have enough information to go on. Hence, we have no real explanation about the mutants in the MCU and for what they will stand for. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, now that Marvel Studios has the X-Men and the mutants in their hands, what would you say is the most fitting way in which they should be introduced, with the biggest question of where they have been so far answered along the way? Also, what are your thoughts on the mutants race while we are at that too? Do you think they will be one of the greatest things that happened to the MCU, and why? But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.